Kemi Amalulu Olunlayo. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of August 2019, Lagos, Nigeria, and this is IJ Koza, my investigative series on the Busola Dakolo rape allegations in Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo. I have been investigating this story for the past 2 months. A lot of things have come out from my investigation, and it's very intense. Some of you are torn apart because you believe that the pastor allegedly raped her. I firmly believe that none of these activities happened, and I've shown you proof. I took you to the end of the investigation that nothing happened, and I brought you from the beginning of the investigation. And I said on TVC that it's like custard, a powder at the end of the table, and a bowl of custard with milk and sugar at the end. And what happened between that custard powder and the bowl is what I'm showing you. Okay, hot water. Okay, that's what entered the powder and made it custard. The hot water is hot, and that's the facts of this investigation. The mainstream media, the MSM in Nigeria, have never touched this investigation. Many of them I spoke to, many of my colleagues said we've done enough for the Dakolo with regards to this story. Some even said they don't believe it. Some said they just simply don't know what to investigate because there's no physical or forensic evidence. Physical evidence will bear on people who will step up and testify. For Busola against the pastor, or for the pastor against Busola, everybody's silent. Okay, that's physical evidence. Forensic evidence, sperm, blood, semen, whatever, fingerprints, and those kind of evidence belong to police. Nigerian police doesn't have forensic units, and they don't even have a sex crime units. If you rape somebody in Nigeria, you're prosecuted if you're caught. We have a lot of cases of defilings in Nigeria. So at this point, August 21st, I want everybody who listen to this podcast to post a question for Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo. I am attempting to secure an interview, which I told the church lawyers and PR people earlier in this story. I wanted to sit down and investigate this pastor by doing a sit-down interview with him. I've done lots of sit-down interviews when I was in America, some very famous people. But in Nigeria, quite a few I've done, but not sit-downs over the phone or Mishari's interview for 2014 elections. But in this case, I want to do an American-style sit-down. I'll sit in front of Pastor Fatoyinbo, I'll interview him, ask him questions. And the questions will be your questions. So what I want you to do is to post a question for Pastor Fatoyinbo. What would you like to ask him about this investigation? It doesn't matter if someone else has posed the very same questions. I'll just summarize how many people put that same question down. So post a question for the pastor. Not for me, for the pastor, Biodun Fatoyinbo. Then I can compile these questions, and then I'll know which one gets the most attention and which one will be my top 10 questions when I interview him. Now, the reason I haven't been able to interview Fatoyinbo is because of the Church 2 movement that was created by Yemi Adamalekun and Bukola Shonibare. Okay, now these activist types are, known for their working, paid work. Adamalekun and Shonibare are paid to activate. Okay, I don't call them or consider them true activists. They're from the Church 2 movement. They planned banners, placards. Everything was carefully planned, and then they executed it the day before Fatoyinbo was supposed to start his crusade. I have not met Fatoyinbo before, nor ever spoken to him. And they brought the church down. They said, pastor, step down. They stepped down the pastor. And then many of you out there are telling me, why haven't I interviewed him? Okay, the Church 2 movement took him off the pulpit. I waited 30 days. He's back on the pulpit now. But I can't interview him until that investigation ends with the police. Okay, nobody speaks to media during a police investigation. Nobody should. Of course, the Dakolo spoke to media a few times. They even spoke in a press conference about what happened at their house. The police was trying to serve them a document. So they filed against the pastor for rape. The pastor filed something too. So police wanted to serve them, and next thing you know, they're saying police forced them to sign documents at gunpoint. At least the wife said that. The husband didn't say he was forced at gunpoint, and the wife later refuted that and said that it didn't happen. So at the end of the day, guys, there's so much conflicts in this story. My main goal right now, my investigation is just about finished. You've seen a bulk of it. My main goal is to interview the pastor. Whatever the outcome of the police investigation is. Now, if that outcome turns out that the pastor is exonerated, I'm going to interview him immediately. If it turns out that they have to charge the pastor to court, then I'll not be able to interview him until court proceedings are over. Because, media is very important. You can't just talk to the media anyhow. Okay, sometimes we in the media, I'm not saying me, sometimes we in the media will twist something to another story, especially when you have media that have not bothered to investigate the story and left it to one single journalist. So Fatoyinbo may not speak at all. So let's see what happens, okay? But I do want to investigate more, and I do want to interview him. So drop your questions. Thanks for listening. Kemi Olunloyo, the great journalist of Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, August 21st, 2019.